Recording. All right. I think I'll go ahead and get started. So today is February 27th, 2025. This is Cluster API, Kubernetes Cluster API, Azure office hours. We are CNCF project, so please be sure to abide by the CNCF code of conduct. Basically means be respectful to others and please raise your hand before speaking up. And also, feel free to put any input you guys have in the chat. Today it looks like we got a few things on our open discussion, but if you're just joining us right now, feel free to add things as we go. Um, all right. Uh, cool. So first of all, we would like to welcome any new members or attendees. So if you're new here and you'd like to introduce yourself, please feel free to do so. Cool. I guess everyone's been here before, so yeah, please remember to add your name to the attendees list above. And cool. Let's move on to open discussion. So Brian, I think you had something about add new authentication type.
Yeah, and we discussed it a bit in Slack. So, um, I had added the new authentication type to ASO, and when I bring that commit in, it automatically bumps the Golang version up. Um, and I know that doesn't match CAPI provider, and parts of ASO um, don't have Go 123, but V2 does. So I don't know if we want to I don't know, like, I know we talked like usually you stay in sync with Cappy. So like I don't know what we want to do. In this case, like I have a suggestion if we don't want to bump to 123, but I wasn't sure how okay it is to bump to 123 since that's different than Cappy.
Yeah, I'm actually not sure like what would happen if it's not aligned. Matt, do you have any like thing this any input on that?
Yeah. Um, uh, so in practice, we've generally stayed a Go version behind. That's just because Cappy's main branch is more aggressive and they've moved to Go 123 already. But since we stick with released version of Cappy, we tend to stick with that version of Go as long as that's in our main branch. So um, so we'd be breaking precedent if we jumped ahead of that in our main branch and went to Go 123, but then we'd also be in sync with Cappy main. The timing usually works out that they adopt a new version of Go and then they do a minor release, and we receive that and ingest that and also bump up to a new version of Go. And that usually seems to work out between minor releases so that, um, anyway, I hope that makes sense. I don't think it would be the end of the world for us to jump ahead to Go 123. I don't really know what in practice, the problems would just be we'd be making it more difficult for ourselves potentially to do cherry picks into the release branches if they had some entanglement with the version of Go, which they definitely might not. But anyway, that's my brain dump. That's the only reason I know that we stick with it is because it's kind of a conservative thing to do. Um,
Yeah, that makes sense to me. My suggestion was going to be I can remove the piece from my PR that adds in the ASO piece for this new authentication because that's what's causing the bump. Um, and then I could introduce that later when Cappy does bump and like you all bump to the no Golang too. Since this authentication is like so particular with a first party Microsoft application, um, I can I could test it with my project, but I don't think it would be an issue with the ASO piece missing from my perspective. And then that would pulling that out would resolve this Go bump as well.
yeah, if it's not bending over too far backwards, that does sound like a safer approach. And like Willie says here, ideally, if we bump from to go 123, that would be its own change that we could revert if something went wrong.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. I'll pull my piece out and I'll write a note in the PR so that any of us reading in the future know like what we did, why we did what we did.
Great. Does that make sense to you, Willie? It was?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how like your this feature would still work without the ASO part in it, but um if that's something that could be done, then that's great. I don't want to like delay this by a lot though, because the new next CAPI version might take a while. Usually it takes a while to release. So um if you want to get this whole thing in, we can like work something out, but whatever you suggested sounded good as well. So it's just up to what you're willing to go back on.
Okay. I will test my suggestion, make sure it works. I think the reason it'll work for us is because we're self-managed, so like all our infrastructure is externally managed. So like other
Okay.
than machine creation, we're not using like CAPI to build or CapZ to build like load balancers and that sort of thing.
Cool. Um, but yeah, thanks again for working on this. I think I left a few other things in the PR. But yeah, yeah, just let us know like if that works out and we can work something out if not.
Sure. Thank you.
Yep. And okay, so the next if that's all for that, we can move on to the next agenda item also from Brian and you just need a quick approval on this nil pointer. I got you. This is just a cherry pick of this one, same lines.
Thank you.
Yep. Oh, there's a 117 one as well. I was gonna see it. Well, how
Yeah, I
is
had to
the
do a
automated one?
yeah, I had to do a manual cherry pick of this. The automated one f failed because of the type mismatch on API server LB. I think in release 118 we converted that API server LB to a pointer type, and the the Kate's CI robots fork wouldn't let me push to it, so I had to raise a manual cherry pick.
Oh, wait, what's the difference here?
If you scroll down in the test, I think line 4285. 4286, 4286. 4286, my bad, sorry. In here, yeah, yeah.
Oh,
4272. So 4272, we try to create a API server LB of type point. It's a type of pointer. But in release 1.7, it's not a pointer.
that makes sense. Wait, so is this even needed then?
Um,
If it's not a pointer?
it's still a good fallback, even
Okay.
if it's not a pointer, at least for release 1.7. Let me look at the API type. I think it's needed nonetheless.
I mean, it lets you do the not equal to nil, but I guess I'm still confused on why that's different here. Because like this was needed because API server LB can be nil. But if it's not a pointer, then would it won't have a nil pointer
Yeah,
reference, right?
yeah, yeah.
Well, I already approved it and it's probably gonna merge. It's in the merge pool, so too late.
It's probably a no op at worst, I would
Yeah,
think in this case.
Yeah.
cool. That's all for that one then. So let me know if I missed anything, Brian. Um, cool. Next up, Nawaz. Should we reschedule CAMC weekly meetings to a bi-weekly one?
Just an opinion poll. Wanted to know what the community and everyone thinks. Or even if we need to do that, I'm totally fine with a weekly one. Just wanted to check if others feel the same.
I mean, the attendance has been like kind of low. I mean, we end up skipping every other one, but seems like I mean, I'm always available at this time, so I'm happy to join and see if anyone needs help. Um, I mean, it's great to have one less meeting on the calendar, but I think some people might rely on this to ask questions. So I think it's totally fine to have it be weekly, and then we'll just cancel it as needed rather than bi-weekly, and then someone comes in on an off week and um, won't be able to get their question answered. Matt?
And right as you said that, the mute button disappeared. Anyway, um, yeah, I mostly agree with you. This was an idea we came up with when we were noticing that, effectively we end up canceling every other one last time because we weren't available, and sometimes there's just nothing to do. Um, and so, acknowledging that would save us all time. We wouldn't be. But on the other hand, I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Willie. It's not that much effort to show up, even if there's nothing on the schedule. And several times we've been surprised where, someone we didn't even know was using CAPC shows up and actually has a whole bunch of interesting stuff to say. So I guess my vote would be to keep it weekly. Also, I'm only able to make it every other week for a while I'm in this node provisioning working group. But uh, generally speaking, I like to show up here and just see if anything's going on. And if nothing is, that's fine. We skip it. But mostly I'd like to hear from Brian and anyone else who's actually using it and comes here for support or help. Would that be a pain for you, Brian, if you had to wait I mean, we still have Slack, obviously, but things get done here when you're face to face, as it were.
Yeah, I mean, either way works for me.
Okay.
I understand both perspectives, like having one less meeting on the calendar, but also like it's not that big of a deal. And plus, I can reach out on Slack if I need something.
Right.
Yeah, if anything, like I don't have anything at this time, so I'm okay with taking on the responsibility of just showing up. Um, like I don't want to create extra work for others on the team, especially when they're busy with other meetings like Matt. So, um, yeah, it's on me. So y'all are, no us.
Oh no, not at all on you, Willie. I just wanted to bring this up as a discussion on uh, just to see what others are feeling too. This was something uh, uh, I was discussing earlier internally with other team members, and thought I'd bring this up in community meeting itself. So thank you for the opinion. I think it's better to have it every week.
Yeah, I certainly don't mind having one less meeting. So, I mean, we can chat about it more. But I'm happy to at least, I mean, the worst case is just I join and then
Mhm.
either Brian's just there and we say hi, I say hi, or no one shows up and we're just that's what happens sometimes. So yeah.
Cool.
I will say I'm not a morning person, so okay. We can just say we'll discuss this a little more, keep it on the table. Cool. It looks like we're at the end of discussion items, so yeah, Vishwanath, sorry if I mispronounced your name. Do you have anything that you wanted to
Yeah,
bring up?
yeah, no worries. You pronounced it correct. Uh, I wanted to talk about the PR that I created for the private DNS zone in another resource group.
Yeah, I think I was looking at that. Let me see.
Mhm.
This one,
Uh,
right?
yeah, so upon your request, I have like added the webhook validation code and the test cases as required. You can like go through them. The build is fine, like the tests are also working fine.
Okay,
Uh,
perfect.
yep. So the thing is, this is something that we required in our own in-house. What we actually do is that we take out a fork from the upstream capz repo and implement some of the features that we want, but we also wanted to contribute this to the upstream repo too, so that user should also have the flexibility in case they want it in the future.
Cool. Thank you so much for contributing that because this is a pretty useful feature. Yeah, I took a look at this yesterday. It looks so if you've already using it in your fork and verify that it works, that's awesome. And
Mm.
yeah, the only thing I really saw was just needing some validation and tests. So yeah, that looks great. I'm gonna take a closer look at this after the meeting, and then it looks like Nawaz assigned himself as well. So we should be able to get this reviewed today.
Yeah, that would be pretty great.
Perfect. Thank you for bringing this up. And cool. If that's did you have anything else to add, or just letting us know that it's ready for review again?
And I think I was going to say that it is ready for review again.
Okay,
Nothing
cool.
else is required. Yeah,
All right, thanks again for bringing up this PR, and yeah, we'll get a closer look at it.
sure. That will do. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, I guess let me look at, so we got some time left. I want to keep everyone for too long, so let's just look at the milestone. We're pretty early on in this milestone, so don't have to do that, I think. Let's see if we have any new issues that aren't triaged yet. Um, looks like, wait, this view looks new. Preview. I don't know what these like tags are, but it is task, feature, and task. Oh, wow, is this like something new? I don't know. I don't see any other tag. Like, yeah, what's up, Noahs?
Yeah, that's a new feature. So GitHub UI launched a new feature called sub issues. So instead of having that as just tasks under your main issue, you can now create sub issue. You see that drop down that create sub issue thing over there underneath.
Ah,
It's a button. So when you create that, you get to basically chain your issues, and also it shows up in a much better way when you're trying to create some rundown charts, or uh, you're trying to see how does this issue look like, what's the parent issue, and what are my tasks related to finishing this issue. So instead of just having as a checkbox, you can have it as sub issue, and also they're deprecating something called as a task list.
oh yeah,
So
because
Okay.
that one was kind of like a rudimentary version of this.
so they're deprecating that task list, and they are pushing users to use sub issues.
So now all issues have this new field type.
Yep.
Huh.
And it looked fancy. I mean, yellow, blue.
Yeah, I like it. It's easy
Yeah,
to interpret.
Cool. So I guess these three will have triage.
you can skip them.
Um,
Yeah.
or these are lists.
Uh,
Lists.
Yeah, you can skip those three. I think I've triaged them already, although they don't have a priority assigned to it.
Cool. Um, okay, so this issue was in response to some of our performance testing. Uh, we noticed that we don't actually test the machine pool version, like template itself by itself. So Jack raised a proposal to just combine them. So we test on both machine pools and machines in the same template and test, and we do that already with the upgrade test. So yeah, this could be um it's probably a backlog, but yeah. Nawaz, you had your hand raised, or was that from before?
Oh, that was from before, sorry.
All good. I forgot what the command is. Do I use a hyphen or
No, I think it's just a space, right? Priority space. He said hopefully. Yes, good.
cool. I'll probably end up working on that, but I won't assign it just yet. I have other stuff to do.
This is help wanted, so technically we don't give it a priority.
Oh, okay. Defaulting webhook should add. Looks like you got this laid out.
I think I forgot a not in there. Defaulting webhook should not add. My bad.
Oh,
I could update it.
okay. Yeah, I'll let you fix that. Okay, looks like you got a good understanding of this, but yeah, help wanted there. Uh, Azure Managed Control Plane doesn't support Managed NAT Gateway. Looks like you added a priority here, but uh, this does look kind of important soon, and this might be an easy fix. I don't know if this is like something they can fix with ASO managed cluster. I don't know. Uh,
I don't know either, but I can take a stab at this. Feel free to assign that to me.
okay. Are you sure? Because you're still busy with the ILB stuff, right?
Um, Almost about to pivot out of it, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to take a look if you need, if you end up becoming busy again. But
Cool.
yeah, it just seems like since they pinged David
Mm.
2 weeks ago, does seem like they kind of want it fixed soon. All right, thank you, Nawaz. Minimal permissions required for running CabZ. Looks like you added that priority. Um, so I think we're getting into things that we have already looked at. Yeah. What just happened? Am I still here? Okay, I am.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think any of the issues which have a priority assigned to it, I think they have been triaged.
oh, okay. I don't know why I missed that. The detailed priorities. Okay, so we're good here. Let's see if there are any bugs. Oh, that's all these bugs have priorities besides this one and that we already talked about. Okay, I think we're good. So I think I'm good to end this here and give us 30 minutes back, unless, oh wait, PR triage. Real quick. Sorry, guys. Should be quick. I don't want to use that board.
All good.
I don't think there are any new PRs that are super or needing to be looked at. We talked about this new one. I'm reviewing this one right now for so I'm just trying to make it work locally. Okay, what's up, Matt?
Can we merge 5438? It should be a no event that bumped Cappy to 195.
Oh yes.
But there's nothing interesting in there, hopefully. Well, okay, Brian had a good question there. And I was like, tradition is why we do. Or just doing what Cappy does. Not necessarily makes sense, but I should be fine.
That's a good enough reason for me. I just
Just the oddity is they bumped the the Kubernetes version in one environment variable, but not elsewhere. But that's what Cappy is doing, and it doesn't seem to cause a problem. So not in the vendoring. Thank you.
yep. Oh yeah, Brian, did you get the tests running on that draft PR okay? Or I was like, I think I remember seeing that in Slack a while ago.
I haven't revisited that PR since then.
Okay. If you do look at it again, I would just suggest marking it as ready for review, but putting WIP in the work in progress in the title. That's how I normally do it.
Okay. Yeah, I usually leave it in draft because I thought, man, I have to look, but like even in whip, doesn't it like continue to run the tests?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to just run tests, then you would want to mark it as not a draft, I guess. I never mess with draft PRs because it seems to mess with the CI a little bit um, in the WAS.
Yeah, it's more changes to.
Your mic just seems to be not capturing your voice very well.
Yeah, how about now? Can you hear me?
Good, yeah.
Uh, Thank you. We updated our CAPC test job specs yesterday. So the always run field, which was missing earlier, I added back to some of the pre-submit jobs. I also tagged both Willie and Brian on that PR. So I think now even the retest command at least should trigger the job trigger the tests. But let's just be on the lookout, like to see if there is any behavioral changes with respect to the pre-submit jobs, because we poked around with some of the fields. But I think right now you shouldn't be needing to put that WIP work in progress tag, and it should still be able to be triggered, just like the other tests which get triggered on a draft PR if you add OK to test. But let's see. If you don't observe that, then probably WIP is better.
Cool. Yeah, just let us know if that works out. All right, everything else here looks like it's being tracked. Yeah, so cool. I think we're good to go unless someone has anything to bring up last minute. All right. Going once, going twice. All right, have a good thank you all for coming and have a good rest of your Thursday. Um, yeah,
Thank you, Willie.
yes.
Thanks.
Thanks.
See you.
Thank you.